How do there, chums? I'm back inside of Real VR Fishing. Now, this is the event screen for this new Winter Shark event. And you can see here, we're currently trying to unlock the orange chain shark. Now, you have to catch it, I think, before this bar hits the end here, because then it's going to move on to the albino shark. And I don't know whether you can just click on one of these and go back and try to catch the ones that you miss. I'm hoping that they do let you do that. But at the end of this, we're going to be catching a megalodon. I definitely want the megalodon. And I'm hoping that you can still catch it even if you don't catch some of these beforehand, like the scarlet fury shark or the albino shark. Although they're cool, I definitely want a megalodon by the end of this event. Anyway, let's go fishing. Let's try and catch this orange chain shark this episode. Okay, chums, I've got the orange one on the line. It's looking like I might catch this guy. He's a lot faster than a normal shark. When he darts left and right, he really flies. You've got to be so careful. Trying to hit record while I had him on the line was very tricky. But I risked it because I thought it would make a more entertaining video. Look at him go. Look at that. Smack him out the air. I think this time I'm going to get him. Come on. Now, I am using lure fishing and the lure setup rather than the float setup. Just if you're wondering what my rig is. And I've been using the crankbait. I'm concentrating so much because I'm still not 100% used to this one-handed fishing malarkey. And I really do hope that the devs bring the fix in before we start fishing for the albino shark. Then I'll be back to my normal form. I might even be confident enough to catch these sharks in expert mode, although you don't need to. And having this little dial here is helping because each of these sharks have their own personality. It's like this one, like I say, it darts left and right a lot quicker. And it's rather finicky. And I think you might need this up head display for their personalities. But there we go, we've caught him. I want to try and make a thumbnail from this. I'm trying to get a nice angle of him. That'll do. Very nice. Awesome, we've caught him. We've caught the orange chain shark. And look at that, even in normal mode. Look how many credits I got for that. That is freaking awesome. We've caught him, people. Heck yes, we got him. So anyway, until next time, people. Goodbye, and goodbye again. Okay, chums, now that I'm in two-handed mode, I'm trying to walk around, and look at that. I can walk around the lodge as per normal. So that's fixed. The walking around the lodge is fixed. Look at that albino shark, and there's the copper shark. This big bad boy must be like the megalodon. I do like what they've done. So if you go over to the shark event, here it is right here. Now, some of the images, I must say, that they look a little bit AI generated, but I don't overly mind that. I know there's some people that might, but here's the actual shark event. I really like all these little badges that they've got for each of these. Now, the first shark is the orange chain shark, and you can see this progress bar at the bottom, and at the end of it is the albino shark. So I can only but assume that once this gets all the way to the end, we'll then be fishing for the albino shark. I've now caught the orange chain shark. Next up will be the scarlet fury shark, then a megalodon junior. And hopefully around the 10th of December, if we've managed to do all of this, hopefully we'll get a boss fight. I don't know whether that's the Megalodon Junior. That might be the boss. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, let's jump on over. Look, I'm actually on the scoreboard. I am now... Yeah, maybe just don't pay attention to that. Okay, anyway, let's go. Fishy on! And let's try the reel. Captain Steve, oh Captain Steve, oh Captain. Heck yeah, why not hit that like and subscribe? Thank you very much. And again, the loading screen here, I kind of feel that might be AI. It looked AI. But here we go, let's jump on in. So this is the rod and reel, okay, that we're going to be using to catch the sharks with. Now, the rod itself costs 10,000 in-game credits. The reel costs 6,000 in-game credits. So before you can even fish and catch these hero sharks like the copper shark, you're going to need this setup. Now, you can fish here and you can catch the normal fish that frequent these waters, and there is still a chance that you're going to catch a shark and it's going to go mental, but it's not a big chance. It's just like anywhere else. You may as well go fish somewhere else. If you are looking to rein in cash quickly, you're probably best, if you've got the Canada DLC, to go to Niagara Falls and fish for the sturgeon, to be honest, or to go to any of the ocean maps and just try your luck at catching a shark there. Now, all of these sharks, you can trigger them inside of the normal mode. You don't have to be in expert mode. They're all just rares. So you can stay in normal mode for this. All right, okay, so what wasn't working before was the reel. So let's give it a go. Let's see if the reel is now working. Yes, it's back to normal. That's perfect. Although, yeah, it doesn't appear to be as cool as the other reels, but let's see how I get on when I hook this fish. Okay, come on, little fishy. On a little dishy. Come on, little fishy. When the boat comes in, hiya! Now, I must admit, I've got fairly used to the one-handed fishing because I've been doing it for the whole day, catching fish previously. So, oh, we've got a shark on. We've got a shark on the line. This is a giant hammerhead shark. So let's see how we get on. Yeah, this is much more like a normal reel now. I'm playing without even having to look at the reel or concentrate in the way that I had to when it was broken. This is very much in keeping with all the other reels. It's behaving just like the other reels. So I'm a happy bunny now. I mean, I gave this like a 4 out of 10 for a couple of reasons. One being the financial sort of restriction to get into this. And the other part was the actual reel itself was broken. And I just felt that was basic testing that hadn't been done. But now that this is kind of working, well, it's not just kind of working, it is working. It's working perfectly fine now. I think I can give it a sensible score. So, yeah, I really like this event. I like what they've done. I mean, none of those skins that they've put on these sharks are crazy skins. They haven't made them look like, Russian nesting dolls or something like previous skins have been. I mean, the copper, the shark, the albino, all in keeping with what you might find in the wild anyway. You know, you do find albino sharks. You do find different colorations of skin of shark. There you go, look at that, lovely. I mean, that just got me 3,300 credits, even on normal mode. So that's halfway to buying a new reel, right? So it's all right if you're quite good at catching sharks. If you're already level 16 and you're already catching the big fish, even if you're looking at the big holograms in the water. I mean, there's no big fish holograms here. But if you went to another sea area and maybe went Maui fishing or something like that, you're still going to be popping like 300 credits per fish that you catch. And if you're lucky enough to bag a shark, you bag a shark at the same time, So it's not impossible to hit the actual cash barrier, but it's still a barrier. It's still something that the players have got to get through. Now, we had a recent update. We got given a Mexican lodge. Let's just go there quickly. So one of my major complaints is I bought this freaking rug, which was like, it was something crazy. It was like 60,000 in-game credits or something mental. If I go over to the showroom, we can have a look at just how mental some of these prices are. Now, just keep in mind that we had this Mexican lodge and these sort of like trinkets thrown at us just the other month, just before this shark thing came out. I can't see how much I paid for that, but it was a lot. I mean, if you look at the price tags of the lamps, that would give you a rough idea. Look, 25k for a freaking ceiling lamp, right? And you've got another doormat over there, which is 35,000. I think I paid about 60k for that one over there. I mean, look, this one's 30,000, and it's like a quarter of the size. Maybe it was 30,000, I don't know. But I spent a lot, is what I'm saying, on a freaking rug. If I knew that we had to go and buy new rods and reels for the shark event that was up and coming, I would not have bought a colourful rug that doesn't even go in your main lodge. It's just this one Mexican lodge that it's in. I kind of hoped that the Mexican lodge would be in Mexico and we'd have a new tank as well. I just don't see the point in the Mexican lodge if it's not in Mexico and you've got the same frickin' tank. I mean, if I did have my Mexican lodge, what I would have inside of this tank is maybe event fish displayed. I kind of feel that they've missed a trick with keeping the two lodges as the same place but just differently decorated. It would have been nicer if they were separate lodges where we got a whole new tank. Not just this tank, but you go through that door and you've got a Mexican larger reef tank, you know? Because at the moment we've got so many fish that we can catch and we can't really overly display them. Adding in a second lodge was a great thing. I know this isn't part of the shark event, but what I'm pointing out is having stuff like this where you've got hyperinflated prices for those people that have been playing a long time just to spend their cash because it's burning a hole in their pockets. And then after they've done that, to go and drop 16 grand rods and reel setups was a little bit weird. So what I'm actually reviewing is just this shark content. I really do like the orange chain shark, and there is a possibility that I would display it inside my marine tank. The albino shark, definitely like the look of that, and that probably will go in my tank. That one is probably a must. The Scarlet Fury shark, I need to see it really. I mean, I don't know whether the symbol does it justice, but if it's just a red reskin of another shark, maybe even that one might go in. But I'm liking all these three little sharks we've got down here. Now, what I've noticed is these say Hero Shark, Hero Shark, Hero Shark. This one says Megalodon Jr. I think that is the boss shark that's going to open on the December 10th. Now, what I really need to do is go and read the notice board that popped up at the start. I think I can actually read the notices through here somehow anyway. So here we are, real VR fishing, winter shark season. I can scroll on down on here, and I believe there are 3 hero sharks, and then the boss shark. So 4 new hero sharks. Okay. All right, well, maybe that Megalodon is another hero shark, because then it says a special boss stage will open on December 10th. So I think maybe they're the 4 hero sharks. Each map features a unique hero shark. So although that we've got that one map that I was just on momentarily ago, where we caught the hammerhead, maybe we're going to get other maps as well. And this is all 3, really. This is just an event, which I think is freaking awesome that they've done this. So, although that I gave it a harsh, low score of a 4 out of 10, it just felt that they hadn't tested stuff for me. Or if they had, they'd only tested it in one-handed mode and not two-handed mode, which is glaringly obvious that it didn't work right. So that's why I gave it a pretty poor score to start out with. But now that all this is working, it's working as designed and it's coming to fruition, I can see how this all ties in. I love the community aspect. I'm liking the sharks, even though some of them are reskins. It's like this one is a reskin of a nurse shark. I honestly don't mind that. And I think it's lovely that they've given us this and it's free. And because it's free and because it's actually quite community driven and it's got decent rewards and it's now working, I've got to score this. I've got to score this quite high. I'm going to give it double the score that I gave it before. So it moves from being a 4 out of 10 all the way up to being an 8 out of 10. And the main reason why it didn't get any higher than that is because of the entry level in having to purchase a Kate, all these rods and reels to take part in the event. And if you haven't got any cash because of the Mexican event, like I just pointed out, it's a little bit of a reverse economy and a bit of a gated piece of event that you might struggle to get into. I mean, we're fast approaching December, the holiday season, and not everybody's got a lot of time to throw on a VR helmet and start playing a VR game. I'm just pointing out that it shouldn't have been as gated as it was. What I would have suggested that they did is when you do go to your first area, let's just jump back over there and let's just show how beautiful it is. So what I think they should have done is I think they should have let you fish with your normal gear on this first event area. And you know the summer shark event where they just upped the chances of catching a shark? I think that's what they should have done here. And they should have pointed out, yes, you can have this lovely rod and reel for the next section of the event, but you're going to have to get all the money that you've got from catching the sharks here. So maybe try expert mode to triple your earnings and buy yourself a rod and reel. And maybe it should have been a splash screen pointing that out. But this first area, I think they should have done what they did with the summer shark event, just increased the chances of catching a shark using your normal gear, and you buy this for the second event, because at least then you've at least entered. You've kind of got committed then, because I had to go outside of the event and fish other areas and fish tactically to try and get cash. But anyway, we're also sort of like adding this into the mix. I mean, I love this boat, this trawler, this boat. I hope that they add that into game. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Well, it doesn't do anything. I can't drink from it. Well, it's a fun little thing, but it doesn't do much. But yeah, anyway, this trawler, I hope they add that into the actual game. It's actually really quite nice. I like that. I like that a lot. It looks a bit like the one out of Jaws, doesn't it? So I do think that the fact that they've added in these other locations is lovely. It would be nice to have locations like this brought into the game or left in the game after an event ends as well. But yeah, I like what they've done. And the fact that you can then have this rod for other fishing areas. Actually, I haven't tried that. I haven't gone to another area and tried to use this rod to see if it actually helps me catch sharks in other areas. Let's give that a go, because if that does work, rather than just giving it a flat 8, if I can use this rod and reel in another area, I think I might go up a little bit higher. I might give it an 8.5. Let's go give it a try. Okay, chums, well, I've come over to Oceania. If you're wondering what area of Oceania this is, it's this level here, which I believe was, yes, level 7. Level 7, which is Milford Sound. Now, inside of here, there is actually one shark that I don't actually have right now. This little guy over here. And look what's here. My rod is here. So this should give me an extra chance of catching a shark, right? Well, let's give it a whirl, shall we? Right, okay. I mean, the big fish holograms are here. I didn't really expect them to be here. I thought that this rod limits you to just catching the fish that are most likely to attract a shark, right? Maybe I'm wrong about how these reels and rods work. But that's what I thought. But this should make larger fish even easier to catch as well, right? I mean, the red area on that is quite low. So maybe it is a thing. But you can use these rods outside of the event. And I'm hoping that if I do catch a shark, it does make the sharks a little easier. And I'm hoping it makes the catch rate of the sharks a little bit higher. I don't know whether that's true or whether I'm reading into this too much, but the fact that I've got the rod in my hand and the fact that, yes, it does seem to be a little bit easier to catch the larger fish, maybe I should, give this an 8.5 out of 10, people. Yeah, anyway, I think this is a really good event. The fact that we're getting new rods and reels after the event that we can continue to use, although you have to pay for them using in-game credits, it's still new rods and reels that have been added, technically, for free into the game. And you can't just, throw that away as something, can you? I mean, that is something that lasts. And you're going to have these sharks in your tank that other people aren't going to have if you partake in this event. So I think, an 8.5 out of 10 is where this update should sit right now, people. Barracuda? No, it's a wahoo. Wahoo! Nice. I like it. We got a wahoo. Sweet. I've nearly got enough credits now to go and purchase Kate the Last Rod. Because if you go into here, I think it's into the... Oh, look. You got the Iron Bite casting rod. Small-sized fish cannot be caught. A stat bonus is applied when catching a shark. So I don't know whether that means... Oh, I think this stat boost is the green or something when you catch it. I don't know. But anyway, I'll be buying that. That's another 10 grand. Right? And then you've got to get the reel to go with it, which I currently haven't got enough. I just need to catch a few more fish. So it's all good, though. It's all good. It's all fine. So anyway, I better go back to the fishing. But there we are. Yeah, so I'll stick with this, and I'm going to carry on fishing and see if I can get myself enough to do what I need to do. Chums, there is still a bit of a bug. So if you've got your setup with the lure on and you want to swap back to doing shark float fishing, you can see here I've selected the shark float fishing, but nothing has changed with the rod. Change it to lure, change it back to float, and then it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a little bit strange, it's a little bit finicky, but sometimes it does sort of get a little bit held up. Okay, another issue that I had was before, after every cast, it wouldn't go to mid-level. But they've fixed that. That's all fixed as well. So, yeah, they have put a lot of attention to detail when it comes to fixing issues. So, credit where credit's due yet again. Oh, that's me, I think. I mean, I was holding the cast button. There we go. Righto. I'm going to see if I can catch a shark. Okay, chums, now what I would say is because this rod cuts out the chance of catching small fish, you're going to be catching medium and large fish pretty much all the time. So if in your Pokedex of fish, the only things you've got left to catch are medium and large fish, may as well swap to this rod. Cuts out catching tiddlers. And it's also going to guarantee that you're going to be getting a fairly decent swath of credits. So once you've unlocked one of these rods, it's really a bit of a cash bringer. So that's a bit of another tip if you are struggling, is get yourself one of these rods unlocked, and hopefully it's going to make the others easier. And look, it's kept its line length now. Brilliante! Heck yeah! Now, chums, although I said that this rod, you're not going to catch small fish, that's a chub mackerel. Last time I checked, that's a small freaking fish. So I don't honestly get that. I didn't think I'd be catching a chub mackerel. I mean, when you look at the fish decks, you know, that's a small fish. I wouldn't expect to catch that. That's a small fish. That's a small fish. But so is a chub mackerel, right? That is not a medium fish, is it? I don't know. I'm a little bit miffed as to why. But then maybe it's because the chub mackerel attracts the sharks, you know? This is a shark setup. So maybe it's still going to catch fish that attract a shark from time to time. And that I can kind of, you know, get my head around. Okie dokie, coolio. But even still, to be using this rod and reel outside of the event, great. I think what we need, though, now that it says small-sized fish cannot be caught, maybe when you select a fish, maybe it should say its size, just as a thing. Like, even down here or something, it could say XL, small, or just an S for small, M for medium, L for large, XL for extra large, etc. Because you kind of need to know that now if we've got bespoke rods that don't let us catch small fish. It's like, could I ever catch that? How am I supposed to know how big this freaking fish gets? You know? Just a suggestion. Righto. But anyway, people, there we go. An 8.5 out of 10, which I think it thoroughly deserves. I love this level. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous, isn't it? I think Oceania is still my favourite DLC. What's your favourite DLC? Sound off in the comments. And until next time, people, goodbye, goodbye, and goodbye again.